It's another episode of the Giant Markets. Salute you for coming in, for tuning in. I say welcome. Greetings to everyone. This is the Giant Markets. We are back again to make you understand more about how the markets function. So as you know, when you see us like this is a place where we talk about the technical side of the markets. If you are opening the trading platform of the markets, you have to have a clear understanding of what the markets are all about, of what is actually happening when you are seeing the candlesticks. So thank you all for being here. So what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about the spinning top candlesticks. So this spinning top candlestick, the greatest things that we have to understand about it is that it's one of the very important candlesticks that any person who wants to trade, who wants to be a full-time trader, has to know and understand. So on the previous episode that we did of the Giant Markets, I had to talk about the donji. There is some similarities between the spinning top and the donji. So whatever I'm going to say today, you should go even and check out on the previous episode. That's where you get to understand more, because it's a continuation of this episode, is a continuation of what we talked on the previous episode. So what you have to know firstly as a trader is that the forex exchange is driven by two things. It's the fundamentals and the technical side. The fundamentals, that's where we deal with the news, where the market is driven by the news. Then the technical side, it's where the market is driven by the candlesticks and other technical things that you'll find inside the market. So today, let's get started on the spinning top. So a spinning top candlestick, it's a candlestick pattern that has a short real body, a long upper shadow, and a long lower shadow. This candlestick pattern represents indecision in the forex market. So whenever you are a trader, you see a spinning top, know that this candlestick is here for a certain purpose. And the purpose that it represents at that time is that there is poor decision making that is about to be done by the people who are bringing money in the marketplace. Because it's either the people are injecting a lot of money, there are a lot of them, and the people who are also want to take money, there are also many in that time. So that's why we will find a spinning top. So the other thing that you need to know about a spinning top is that whenever you see a spinning top, there are more buyers and sellers, but there is no one who could have gained the upper hand, because as you can see that whenever you see a candlestick with higher upper shadow or higher wings and lower wings, know that it's a sign that there is volatility in the market at that present time. So this candlestick forms when the buyers push the price up at a certain given time period, and the sellers also push the price down at that given period of time, which makes the real body to have an opening and the closing close to each other. So that's why we will have the opening price and the closing price close, because we said the spinning top is a small real body, which means there will be a lot of buyers at the same time and a lot of sellers at the same time. And that's what I want you to have an understanding when we are talking about the spinning top. So after the strong price advance or decline, spinning top can signal a potential price reversal or at that time, because whenever you see a spinning top, know that there is a potential price of there is a potential reversal. That's what the spinning tops are all about. And they also can represent a sideways, because there is no one who's in charge of the markets. So sideways are always implemented by the markets whenever we see that there is no one who's in charge of the markets. So it's like it's a breathing space for the market. When the market just goes on a sideways, it's like it's breathing. So that's why we find the market not going up, not going down, but there will be a gathering of momentum for either the buyers or the sellers. So a spinning top also tells you all about that, and you should be ready, because anytime it's either the market will go up or will come down. So when a spinning top appears within a sideways or range, it still means indecision is still prevailing, and the range will also likely continue. So that's what you have to understand about the spinning top, and that the color of the candlestick, it doesn't matter when it's a spinning top, because what you have to know, whenever you see one spinning top and you see another, and you see maybe a doji appearing, then you see another spinning top, know that there is indecision, and it can be, it's either the market can go sideways at that present moment. So the other thing that you have to understand about the spinning top is that you should not, the spinning top works best in conjunction with other technical indicators, like moving average, like the market, the moving average, convention and diverging, or the relative strength index. So that's what you have to understand about the spinning top, that don't rely on it whenever you find a spinning top and be like, yeah, now the market is going down, oh, now the market is about to make a turnaround. No, use other technical indicators. They will also tell you a story, whether if the technical indicator is also on your side, which means the spinning top is the one for it's also telling the truth of what the next event is going to happen. And there's other thing that you have to understand is that the market is a future-based mechanism. It's always focusing on the future. So that's what you have to know about the market. So the fact that we want to understand about the candlesticks and the technical side, it makes us to easily predict when the markets can go. But there are certain changes that can happen in the market based on the news that can come out, which are the fundamentals. So you should watch out for such things like that. So now I want to tell you the difference between a doji and a spinning top. So both represent indecisions. On the previous episode, I talked about the doji, that a doji also can have a higher, a long upper shadow and a long lower shadow, with also a small rib body. But there are so many dojis, they differ on how they are presented. But what you have to know, whenever you see a spinning top or a real body, because this episode is a continuation, know that the market is showing indecision at that period, on that period of times, and that dojis are smaller than the spinning top. That's the other thing you have to understand, with small real body and small upper and lower shadows. So a spinning top is long upper and lower shadow, which is different from the doji. So that's the other thing that you have to understand. And they appear frequently. These candlesticks appear frequently because of the situation that will be happening at that moment, whether it's whatever time frame we may talk about. But you have to, these are very important candlesticks for anyone to know, to understand them if you are in the markets. And they are used to signal of a reversal after a strong price movement. So because they appear frequently, which means that whenever the trend is going up or the trend is going down, know that they are there are less chances of seeing a donji or a spinning top. But whenever the momentum of that trend is starting to slow down, that's when you will see the spinning top or the donji, sorry, and they both rely heavy on confirmation. And that's the other important thing that you should never forget, that the spinning top and the donji, they rely on confirmation. So that's all about the spinning top and the donji for today. Now we move to the next segment, which is the news. For as a giant, you have to be informed and know the news. So on the news today, I want to talk about Donald Trump, the man who is contesting to be the president of America. There is something that has come about at the present moment. Donald Trump has been found guilty of tax fraud. So this is the news that have come. It has been trending in the past week because Donald Trump, not only is he found personally being guilty, but it's his organization that has been found guilty. So the business is found guilty of all counts of tax fraud. And so that's what people have been saying, especially the media in the American side, that whenever you are found guilty of all counts of tax fraud, know that you're in trouble. So the guy is in trouble. So what happened with Donald Trump? Donald Trump, once when he was contesting for his elections, he talked with Hillary Clinton and told him and said, you know that we use fraud. You know that guy? That guy had to openly say it, that we use tax. For us to make money, we use tax. Tax is what we use so that we can make money. And even say to Hillary Clinton that you also use tax for you to also make money, because anyone who doesn't pay tax gets arrested in those developed countries, and it's known, and the tax at that side is very high. But he had to make it known to everyone that no, we use this tax that you guys talk about, we use it, and there are so many of you guys who also use it. And I was like, no, Donald Trump, that's not how we do it in the business side, when you openly say the secrets that are happening behind. And he went on further, he was accusing, he messed up everything, the guy. So now he has found himself in a mess because the tax that they said is now owing is more than 1.2 billion. Imagine that. Poor Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is in trouble. We don't know how this thing will affect him in contesting for being the president of the country in the coming elections, right? So on the other news, Jerome Powell had to increase the interest rates in America by 50 basis points. So we'll have a lesson where I'll be explaining on the basics points, on what makes them to be what will they be saying when they are saying it's 50 basis points. So to increase so that they may calm down the inflation rate that is growing very fast in America. But in the last 2 months, it has been better because it was around 9.1%. Now it's around 7.3%, which is better. But they are trying to calm it down until it goes to 2%, because they say a country with a normal inflation rate, it has to be around 2% to 2.5%. So that's the normal inflation rate. So right now, because it's over 2.5, it's people in the country cannot rest, and there is high price of everything, regardless of the war in Russia being the cause of everything. But that's the problem that they are actually facing at the moment. So we're expecting the interest rate to be taken up by the reserve of the Federal Reserve, which is the Fed of America. And whenever the news comes up, Jerome Powell is that guy whose words are so powerful that when he speaks, the market responds. So Jerome Powell, when he spoke and said we're raising the interest rate by 50 basis points, even the dollar went out, and everything that is contrary to the dollar, it went down. So that's the fundamental, that's the power of the fundamental. Whenever the news are brought up, it makes the market go up or go down. So that's the other thing that any trader has to understand, so that they may have the knowledge of what will be happening at that present moment. And on the other news, the Eskom CEO, that's Andre de Ruyter, is resigned as the CEO of Eskom because of the challenges that are happening in South Africa. So this is the CEO of the South African, one of the biggest companies in South Africa, which is Eskom, because there are so many challenges that that company is facing. So when we're listening to him, when he was speaking, he was kind of saying there is too much fraud, there are so many problems that are happening in that company, and he has decided to resign. So Eskom is one of the biggest companies, and people love investing in that company. But what is actually happening at the present moment, it's causing even to stock not to increase, but it's going down in value, because they are not delivering at the moment, and a lot of people are not trusting Eskom. So that's what is actually happening at the moment. Yeah, so that's it for the news of today. These are the activities that there are so many things that are happening in the market. So we're just here to talk about these ones that are happening. So we go into the giant's lingo. As a giant, you have to have an understanding of the words of the market. So right now I want to teach you, to make you to understand the words, the terminology that is happening in the markets. So today, the word of today is volatility. Volatility, it's a tendency to change quickly and unpredictable. That's what volatility is. So volatility is like a sudden change. Whenever the market decides to go up at no time, especially when there is a certain news that has came out, the market tends to either it goes up or it goes down. Especially gold, Nasdaq, S&P 500, and every US dollar pair. Whenever the Federal Reserve or Jerome Powell speaks, when the US dollar goes up, these other currencies that I've listed, they go down, because they are collateral to the US dollar. So that's what causes what we call volatility, because some people will be like, but why did I was having a good strategy, and I saw the dollar, I saw the US dollar euro pair going down, then all of a sudden it changed, it went up. So what is the code? That's what we call volatility, when it's happening all of a sudden. So yeah, that's the word of the day, and you should understand this word more, because it's very important in the marketplace. So right, today we are introducing a new segment again, which is called the quote of the week. As a giant, you have to be motivated. You need some motivation. So this is the motivation of the week. So today I want to talk about this man, one of the most intelligent men that we've ever had in this world. His name was called Aristotle. He was a Greek philosopher. He lived between the 300 and 380 to 320. I don't know whether it's before Christ or it's after Christ, but it was during those times where he lived. This guy, he was one of the most intelligent guys. So Aristotle said it is the mark of an intelligent, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. I'll repeat it again. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. So let me break this one down of how Aristotle was thinking, this Greek philosophy. So this guy was saying it is the mark of an educated mind. So what you have to understand is that there is a certain level of a mindset that an educated person has. And that mindset is being able to recognize and even entertain different perspectives. It's one of the key things that an educated mind can do. So Aristotle is one of those guys who was like, no, there's something that you have to understand about an educated mind, because they were living during those times and education wasn't as vast as it is at this moment. So he was like, no, look at these educated people and understand how they think. So that's why he came up with this quote and said, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought and not accept it. Because one of the things that you have to understand about an educated mind is that an educated mind is one person who's able to take everything that comes into him. So that's what we're talking about. An educated mind who's able to entertain thoughts. So an educated person can grasp everything. They don't care whether it's politics, whether it's psychology, whether it's religion. An educated mind can take everything because they know which is good for them. They know which is the best. So they will be able to differentiate and say, no, this one I won't use at the present moment, but I will use this one at this moment. So Aristotle was one of those guys. So Aristotle, he continues and says, education was crucial if a man was to achieve fulfillment of the possibilities of one's character. So Aristotle is one person who's trying to bring back everyone to education and say, no, for you to be able to reach your full potential in anything, you need to be educated. So he was one guy who was enforcing on educating. So that's why I loved this quote today, because it's bringing everyone back to education, like we are doing on the giant markets, where we want to bring a community of people who are giants, but giants who are not only, who won't be fighting with people, but who will be more educated to fight for the rights of the people. So Aristotle believed that the supreme goal to which we all aspire to is happiness. But the happy man is neither a noble nor savage, but instead is an educated man. So this guy was just bringing back everyone to education, that you won't reach anything, you won't do anything, and you won't be called a smart person unless you're educated. That's why he said it is the mark of an educated man to entertain thoughts without accepting them. So only people who are educated, it's a skill that you acquire over time as a normal human being, to be able to entertain thoughts without accepting them, to listen to people when they are talking, when they are telling anything, but at the end of the day, and not take it because it's not worth it, or it's not the time for you to accomplish that thought. So that was Aristotle for you, and I loved this guy. I love so many of his quotes because he was an excellent philosopher. One of the guys who is an immaculate history, and they did so many wonders in Greece. They introduced mathematics. It did a lot of things. He was one of the great guys that we can ever think of. So yeah, we thank you for this segment, and I say thank you all for tuning in up until the end of this lesson of the giant markets. We thank God for the gift of life. We thank you that you were here, and your life will be changed based on understanding more of the simple things of the markets. So please subscribe and follow us on the giant markets, and comment so that we may talk more of how we can help each other with the markets. So thank you. Stay blessed.